Wow, this smells so good. I can smell the roasting of the walnuts and the sunflower seeds. Hi there and welcome to my kitchen. Today I want to show you how to make mushroom and nut steak. I'm calling this a steak because it can be served as a main course on a vegetarian plate instead of the meat. I actually made this at Thanksgiving this year and the comments from the guests were really impressive. They loved it. And that's because it's full of umami flavor from the mushrooms, onions, garlic, walnuts, sunflower seeds, fresh herbs, lemon, and a little ricotta cheese for creaminess. We also use olive oil, which adds actually a tremendous amount of flavor and richness to the dish. Today I'm going to show you exactly how to make this amazing mushroom and nut steak. Are you in? So you're going to take 2 pounds of mushrooms, some salt, pepper, onions, and garlic. And these are actually baby Bella mushrooms. Aren't they beautiful? Button mushrooms will also work just fine. Then you're going to finely chop onions and garlic. And I like to do that first and then just set it aside to use later in this recipe. And you're going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to wash those mushrooms. And I like to use a clean tea towel and just wipe them off over the sink to get off as much dirt as you possibly can. And so just take your time with it. And in the next step, we are going to chop those mushrooms in the food processor. Okay, here comes my favorite part. Pulsing the mushrooms in the food processor. This is not the only way to slice up these mushrooms. You can use a knife, chop, 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 chop. Mushrooms are actually really fun to chop, but I love doing it in the food processor. I have an attachment that's a slicer in here, and I'll show you what it looks like. So I'm turning it on, and then that's it. All right, let's take a look. Are you ready? Ta-da! Isn't that amazing? I love all those mushrooms. And what we're gonna do is bring them out onto the baking tray. And we're using about 10 cups of mushrooms. All right, so let's spread these in half. And fairly evenly. Actually, some of these are quite big. You can literally break them up with your fingers. I've never had such big, beautiful mushrooms when I made this before. These are baby Bella mushrooms, and they're nice and firm. Not too dirty, they're beautiful. That's what you want to look for. So I'm just breaking up some of these bigger pieces. With my fingers. Spread them out. Now, take your chopped garlic and onion. Here I've got the garlic. I'm going to spread that in evenly. The rest of the garlic here. And then the onions. All right, beautiful. Next is the fun part. I've got some olive oil here, and we're gonna pour it on. Okay, so olive oil on both sides. I want to put a good pinch, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Little bit of black pepper. Gives it good flavor, savory taste, pungent taste, and then use your hands to mix it together a little. You don't have to be too precise. What's going to happen when it goes into the oven is that the salt is going to help draw out the moisture, and the oven itself is going to draw out the moisture from the mushrooms. And we want to roast these until starting to brown and looking on the dry side. So that's what we're going to be looking for when we put these in the oven. So now it's time to prepare all of the rest of the ingredients for the mushroom steak. And so the first thing is chopping up the fresh parsley. And you want to chop it fairly finely. This is a process, as you can see. All right, beautiful. So it's 4 tablespoons, so that's about a 1/4 cup. And if you have a little bit more than that, that's fine too. It's nice to prepare it and put it in the little containers, but you don't have to do that. You can just put it directly into the food processor. This is actually fresh thyme that I picked from my garden. So since it's on the stem, I need to go through and remove them stem by stem, and then give those thyme leaves a little chop. This is actually lemon thyme, so it's very beautiful and aromatic. It's, working with fresh herbs is a wonderful experience. Just take your time with it and try to enjoy it. Next we have here some white wine vinegar, or you could use any light colored vinegar that you've got. And some fresh lemon. So we're actually using double sour in this recipe. So vinegar and lemon are both sour, and that gives a nice, complex, simple flavor. Okay, so we're gonna add the walnuts, sunflower seeds, white wine vinegar, fresh lemon, the fresh parsley, the fresh thyme, and then I have some dried oregano. So what I'm going to do is take that oregano and crunch it in my palms and add in that beautiful savory oregano. We're going to pulse that. Until it's about the size of rice. So that's pretty good. Let's get a spatula. And we'll just pulse it again. Nice. So that's what you want to have. So the next step is to add in all those beautiful mushrooms that you roasted. You got those nicely browned. Some of them are a little crispy, some of them aren't. And you can see this method of just putting one corner of the baking tray into the food processor and then just scooping them down with your hands. Adding them in. Yes. And then we're going to give it another pulse to blend everything together here. And now we're adding the ricotta cheese. So transfer from the food processor to a mixing bowl, add in the ricotta cheese, and just mix everything together. It's funny how the mixture looks quite white at this stage. So we're giving it a taste and adjusting the seasoning. So I'm adding a little salt here, also some black pepper, and a little bit of more lemon. So when you're tasting it, say, can I taste the salt? Can I taste the pepper? Can I taste the lemon? Can I taste the herbs? All right, so you just want to take about a quarter cup of the filling and place it inside a mold. Then I like to use my fingers to tamp it down inside the mold, and then just lift it up, and that's what you got. Isn't that cool? So this mold is actually a pastry cutter or a cookie mold. It comes in a set where you can get multiple sizes, and this one's got a rim on the top, and it is perfectly cut on the bottom. And so I'm just going to place the next mold down. Actually, I'm going to place it here. And another section of the filling, tamping it down with the fingers. And then lifting it up. So it looks like I got a little bit more in the second one, but that's okay. Third one. I'm not being completely, perfect about how much I'm putting in, but you could be if you wanted to be, if you want them to be perfectly even. And I actually like the fact that it has a little bit of texture on it. You see how there's some ridges up and down? That actually creates browning influences when it's in the oven. And so those parts get more crispy than the other parts. So that actually is a nice thing. Ta-da! Okay, after that's all together, you just want to pour a little bit of olive oil on top. I think this step is just kind of fun. Just giving it some extra love, flavor, even a little extra sprinkle of salt, just for a finishing touch before the bake. Okay, and then this is going to go into the oven, and it is going to bake for 35 to 45 minutes until the top is golden brown and crispy. Oh, wow, this smells so good. I can smell the roasting of the walnuts and the sunflower seeds and the umami flavor, or the umami-ish quality of the mushrooms and all those herbs that we put in, as well as the fresh lemon. This smell, almost ever since I put it in the oven, has just been, so enticing. Here, I'll show you a little bit more close up here. right, let's check this out. So here we are. We have officially made our mushroom steaks and they look amazing. Look, you can actually pick it up. It's a little bit sensitive, but it's actually quite firm. And I'm going to take a bite. You know, it's so meat-like. Texture is amazing. So good. I'm chewing and I'm getting lemony flavors. I'm getting the fresh thyme, which is actually a lemon thyme that I used. I'm getting the parsley, which has so much complexity in its taste, especially the nice astringent taste from the parsley. And also from the nuts, the walnuts have a good astringency. Astringency is a little drying, but it's also a cleansing taste. You've got the seeds in there. So the crunch is just going on and on. You can see I'm still chewing. But the flavor is going on and on with every chew. It's spectacular. So good. This is really worth making. These mushroom steaks, a portion like this, will do you for a beautiful main course meal. I made it for Thanksgiving. You can make it for Christmas, for Hanukkah, for any special holiday, as long as I'm not violating any food rules with those holidays, but you know what those are. And so give this a try, and I want to actually give you a tip. Yeah, so I actually have a tip for you. So you can see that this made 12 good-sized patties. I would say that's serving for 6 people, 2 patties each. You might want to have a couple extras though, which is what I got. And so what I did with those extras is just form them into the patties, place them on the parchment, covered them with plastic wrap, and then freezing these in the freezer. Once they're frozen, you can pick them up and put them into a Ziploc bag. Now you have a Ziploc bag loaded with vegetarian main course mushroom steaks ready to go, and all you need to do is reheat them in the oven. And that's amazing, right? So make this once, depending on how many portions you need. Put the ones that you don't need right away into the freezer and just cook off the ones that you need at the time. And enjoy this meal. I'm gonna have it with rice today, but it'd also be wonderful with mashed potatoes. You could also try a vegan gravy. I'll link a recipe for you along with those potatoes and the rice. And then actually recently did parsnips and carrots. So a nice side dish, a vegetarian side dish would go well with this. So any kind of cooked vegetables along with the grain and the steak. And then a side salad would give you a full and complete meal. I could imagine some chopped up cherry tomatoes just to brighten things up, since the steaks are a little dark, characteristic of steak. So make sure you have something bright on the plate, green salad, cherry tomatoes, you know, even like a little bit of cucumber, or maybe some red cabbage on that plate. So be creative and enjoy this dish. That's all I have for today. Bye for now.